Right lads, man, it's Kebab here, and welcome to the second episode of Videogame Versus, where as stated last week, we'll be pitting Smash Bros. Brawl against Smash for Wii U. Now some may ask why Smash Ultimate is not here. Well, firstly, this game is still receiving updates at this moment in time, and it's still evolving as a game. And secondly, I believe the jump between Brawl and Wii U was more significant than the jump from Wii U to Ultimate, making for a more interesting comparison. Now these two games are absolutely packed to the brim with content, and unfortunately, I only had less than a week to get through the two of them. Although I do believe I got most of the key stuff. So with all that said, let's get this versus started. Starting off in Brawl, we have the Subspace Emissary. Some people do love this mode. I'm not one of them. Now doing a quick run through of its story, we start off with a fight between Mario and Kirby, demonstrating both the concept of the game itself and also explaining trophies. All of a sudden, the Halberd attacks, alongside the Ancient Minister, with Mario and Kirby alongside Zelda and Peach having to fight off the subspace armies and Petey Piranha. However, in the process, failing to destroy a subspace bomb that consumes the stadium. The rest of the campaign then continues on in a similar fashion. Random pairings of characters are attacked by the subspace armies, as well as Bowser, King Dedede, Wario, and Ganondorf, who are all turning our characters into trophies by the orders of Master Hand. But eventually, after fighting across the whole world, we enter subspace, where it is revealed that Master Hand himself is under the control of Taboo. We fight through one last incredibly long level before finally fighting and defeating Taboo. Now that was a pretty compact way to describe this story. In reality, it's a mess to follow. Now what is it like playing this story? I hate it. Sure, the cutscenes are cool and the story itself, although confusing, is semi-interesting. By God does it drag on. Sure, you can speedrun this thing, but why would you want to? The levels themselves are all generic and boring, filled with waves of the same enemies. It shows platforming into a game that doesn't do platforming well, and the entire last stage is a literal maze. No, seriously, it's called the Great Maze, and by fuck is that an understatement. You have to go all around this entire map, then you need a guide just to get around, through the same levels you've played before, fighting the same fucking bosses, just to fight a fucking butterfly to get fucking Sonic. Fuck this mode, fuck this story, and fuck the fact that I still have to give it the win this round, cause Smash Wii U is too much of a pussy to have a story. The gameplay of Brawl is a divisive one to say the least. The hardcore Smash community was not afraid to rip into this game at launch, criticising its more casual approach and having basically no competitive appeal at all. Although yes, it is incredibly beginner friendly, that's not to say it's not fun and adds new features. The name of the game this time is the Final Smash. Wait for the Smash Ball to appear on screen, break it open, and release a finishing move unique to each character. We also now have assist trophies which allow you to release an AI character to fight alongside you. This, alongside a plethora of new items, really helped to create a more chaotic yet fun experience. In terms of modes, I've already covered the Subspace Emissary, but besides that we have Classic mode returning from Melee, however arguably worse as it drops the minigames in between, our standard 4-player Smash, Special Brawl which just lets you create incredibly stupid yet fun battles, event matches make their return, of which there are now 62, the stadium is back with Target Smash and the Home Run contest, we've got All-Star mode. There truly is no shortage of content in this game to play through. In terms of stages, we have classics like Mario Circuit, Delfino Plaza, PictoChat, alongside returning stages from Melee. The only problem I have with a lot of these stages is how dull they look. Even a bright stage like Skyworld still looks washed out and doesn't look great. Trophies also return, however we'll cover them in more detail in the extra features section. To summarise Brawl's gameplay, if you're looking for a Smash game packed with content, this is the one. It's easier to pick up and play than Melee, however much slower, more imbalanced, and overall not the game for the more hardcore fan of the series. Wii U on the other hand, oh boy. Within the first 10 minutes, I fell in love with how this game plays. Gone is the sluggish gameplay of Brawl, and instead is replaced with fast-paced, action-packed fights that are both fun and frustrating. Most modes return here, but the game does lack an adventure mode like Brawl and Melee had. The closest thing being Smash Tour, which is incredibly confusing and not that fun either. 8-player Smash is now here, and it's as chaotic as it sounds. Classic mode has been changed up, and unfortunately isn't as good as Brawl. It's much shorter now, only being around 6 rounds, around half the length of Brawl's, and Target Smash has been dropped from the mix. Special orders have now been brought in, allowing you to pay a fee to do a challenge for either Master or Crazy Hand, and receive a gift. Besides that, it's mostly the same when it comes to modes. The stages here are incredible. Mario Galaxy, Woohoo Island, Pilot Wings, all incredibly colourful, vibrant stages that are a huge step up in Brawl. Some stages have mini-bosses which can be annoying, but are capable of being turned off. The stage selection here is definitely the best of both worlds, a good mix of new and returning stages. This game is a lot more fun than Brawl, in my opinion. It may drop some features, but for me, the improvements in gameplay more than make up for it. So I decided to drop design as a category for today's video for two main reasons. Number one, if it were a category, it would simply go like Denim, a game that wasn't designed using the colour palette of a middle-aged sex dungeon. The roster for Smash games is one of their key features. Talking about a Smash game without mentioning its roster is like talking about Bill Cosby and not mentioning, you know. Brawl's roster is pretty solid. No character feels like they shouldn't be here. Of course we have the usuals, Mario, Link, Ness, alongside new characters like Pit, Olimar and Meta Knight, who we'll get back to in a second. Brawl also marks the introduction of the first non-Nintendo characters, with the introduction of Sonic, now a series staple, and Snake, probably the most advertised of all the characters. The biggest problem with Brawl's roster is simply how unbalanced it is. Take Meta Knight for example. He's incredibly overpowered in comparison to, let's say, Link. The imbalance is pretty annoying, especially if you don't know which characters are good, and is one of the main reasons this game isn't competitive. Wii U on the other hand is seen as having one of the most balanced rosters of any Smash game. As expected, we have a larger roster here, numbering 58, 37 of which are veterans, and 21 of these are newcomers. 7 of these characters were also DLC, which I don't have the money to buy, so I'm gonna have to leave you guys an IOU for that one. Mega Man, Pac-Man, Ryu, Bayonetta, and Cloud are all new additions to the third-party roster, along with the introduction of Nintendo characters not yet in the series. Little Mac from Punch-Out!, Rosalina from Mario Galaxy, and Shulk from Xenoblade. All great additions. And then we have Mies. Yeah, it's a pretty easy victory here for Wii U. Brawl has multiplayer. Not great multiplayer, but multiplayer. Pretty much every mode is playable with at least 2 people. And don't get me wrong, it is fun, but the more sluggish nature of the game kinda takes away from the table tossing insanity that was Melee's multiplayer. However, Brawl has one redeeming feature in this department, having the title of being the first Smash game to introduce online multiplayer. Online multiplayer that doesn't work. Even when the servers were active, I've heard nothing good about this game's online play. See, on the Wii, there were very few games that actually had good online. Brawl wasn't one of them. The horror stories of a laggy mess of an online experience leave many players kinda happy that it was shut down. However, there are some poor souls that have been cursed with the urge to keep the servers running for this game. So if you have a spare 4 days to set up your Wii to play them, I'd say try for the experience. I'm about as good with technology as an 1800s chimney sweep, so I'm gonna have to give this one a pass for now. Smash Wii U on the other hand actually has a working multiplayer. Modes are split into for fun and for glory. For fun including items, while for glory being more competitive based. We have the ability to play with friends or anyone around the world, and the ability to spectate and gamble on games, which is now my ideal way of wasting money. Modes are pretty simple. 1-on-1, Team Smash, and Standard Smash, along with Conquest, which, yeah, I've no idea what it is. The only problem with this game's multiplayer, no one plays it. Pretty much the whole Smash community moved on to Ultimate once that came out, and it's virtually impossible to find a game besides 1-on-1 mode, in which I played against the same guy 3 times. It's still better than Brawl's though, which, again, you can't play at all. Brawl's controls, they're okay. Now of course this game uses the Wiimote, which works. Not very well, but it works. The D-pad doesn't really feel like the best option for this game. I feel as if a joystick would have worked better. However, playing this with a nunchuck feels even worse. The game is obviously programmed with the D-pad in mind, meaning it only goes 4 directions in comparison to the nunchuck's 8. Now neither of these are a huge problem for normal gameplay, except when you bring into account the platforming in the Subspace Emissary, in which they work as well as a knitted condom. Now I don't own a classic or GameCube controller, however I'm going to take a guess judging by the nunchuck and say they work better, but not by much. Wii U, yeah, I'm going to keep this short because I think you already know what I'm going to say. Wii U controls incredibly well. This game is perfection in your hands. The controls are so smooth and responsive in comparison to Brawl. The only gripe I have is the block button is R instead of ZR, but it's still a clear win for Wii U. Now as mentioned previously, Brawl brings back trophies from Melee, but also introduces a new item, stickers, which can be used to boost character stats in the Subspace Emissary. Trophies can be attained either by playing through the various modes, or by getting them through the coin launcher, and are all unique, spanning multiple franchises, and all having detailed descriptions. They are an incredibly cool collectible, and add a lot of replayability. We also have a stage builder, which is shit, alongside Chronicles, a list of Nintendo games across every Nintendo system. I'm not sure if it's every Nintendo game, but it's still a cool feature. But even cooler is the inclusion of masterpieces, a collection of retro Nintendo titles that are playable in Brawl, albeit for a limited time. Brawl's extra features are great. Reading through the trophies alone could keep you entertained for at least an hour or two. Smash Wii U, well, you guessed it, expands on these even more. Besides Chronicles and stickers, everything else returns. Trophies are back, this time having Trophy Rush instead of Coin Launcher, alongside a shop to buy specific ones. Masterpieces return, although a lot of the same ones are recycled. The stage builder isn't as shit, replays, along with a few new additions. Amiibo compatibility now exists, allowing you to use Amiibo to unlock certain features in-game. The ability to share content with a 3DS version, and obviously it's not a Wii U game without a meme maker. I'm gonna give this one to Brawl, however. Its additions just felt a bit more substantial by comparison. I don't think we can understate the impact Brawl had. Up until the release of Ultimate, this was the best selling game of the franchise, outselling its two previous games combined. Although not the best Smash game by any means, Brawl was the game that can be credited with a lot of the series' popularity today, largely due to the fact that it was released on the Wii, Nintendo's best selling console. Although seen as a more casual oriented game, it still introduced a huge amount of people to the series because of this. However, amongst fans nowadays, it doesn't hold up as well. It's kinda like the new metal of the series. It was a gateway into the series, but going back to it, it's more of a nostalgia trip for like an hour before you turn it off and go find something better. Wii U on the other hand, yeah, this thing sold terribly. In fact, even the original on the N64 outsold it. This game is the Ultimate like the Wii U is to the Switch. It was a stepping stone towards something bigger in the future, and although it is a popular entry amongst fans for its balanced gameplay, it pales in comparison to the impact Brawl had. However, even with that, Wii U wins. At the time, Brawl was a great game, introducing plenty of new content and features to further evolve the series. But over time, its follow-up slowly ate away at what status it had left. Nowadays, there's not much reason to return to this game. It's unbalanced, doesn't control well, isn't competitive at all, and most of its features were done better in its follow-ups. The only reason to return to this game is either for nostalgia, or to play the Subspace Emissary, although why the fuck you'd want to do that is beyond me. Even thinking about it gives me PTSD. Now saying that, there's not much reason to play Smash Wii U either, largely due in fact to the existence of Ultimate, but that's a discussion for another day. And once again, another Versus comes to a close. Let me know what you guys thought was the winner, and join me next time for bucket loads of controversy when I try to pick a winner between Halo 3 and COD 4. Have a good one, lads.